Like, okay, I have it set on hardcore mode, but let's calm down. Let's calm down.
Look, man, I'm serious.
Oh, I also need to update. It says PB 13421. It still says right there. I need to update that. Wait, I didn't even update it when we had 112. I left it at 134.
You all right? Don't move. I'll be back for you.
The PB portion down there, I think, is a manual
I'll shoot.
number that I input. Can we? What is with him tonight? I feel like we should name him. The very first zombie. I heard the glass break on that shot.
Attention, all citizens.
This is out of control.
Also, on hardcore, there's a invisible number, a scoring system. The more items you pick up,
Turned.
the more like aggressive the zombies will be, or the more like
There it is. The station.
more difficult the zombies are. And it's, yeah, based on if you pick up a lot of ammo. So if you shoot ammo, it actually lowers the score. Because it's like, oh, you're struggling, you probably need that ammo, you're not good at your aim. So like when I was at the laboratory and I don't need the handgun anymore, I was basically emptying the clip out because I was trying to lower that score to make the game think that I didn't need the aggressive zombies. But I know there's like a mod you can have, like, some way to like track that and have it show up on the screen. There's like a threshold that if you cross, like, it's like you're doing too well, and it will make the zombies aggressive.
Open up! Hurry! Open up! Open this goddamn door!
It's not really noticeable either, though. I don't know exactly when it's occurring or not occurring.
Jesus! They're everywhere!
But I don't just empty out my clip at the laboratory just for fun. I do it specifically for that reason.
Does anyone know what started this?
We also had a completely extra heal at the end. We had... I mean, I brought extra heals with me for the final boss. I think we had a first aid spray left. Excuse me, I'm like burping while trying to talk. We had a first aid spray when I actually completed the run. We didn't even use that. And then I also had to put away a green and red herb combo before, when we had to grab the battery. The battery thing, I forget what it's called. But so I had 2 full extra heals essentially that we never used. So basically there could be a point where I just don't pick up certain items that we did pick up, or we just don't get fucking bit. The best run would probably be one where I don't get hurt at all. Also in hardcore, in standard, you can headshot the zombies and they'll get stunned. In hardcore, you can only stun them with their legs, I believe. it's very rare that... Oh, he skydived. Very rare that shooting them in the head will work. It's more likely shooting them... It's like 3 shots I take on them on the leg. Either first shot, second, or third shot, they definitely get stunned. But headshots, it's like a completely different stun rate. Unreliable. Ooh. The textures, the textures in general right now don't look so great. My PC, I've had these settings at the highest setting for so long, and I've enjoyed this game for how it looks. The grid on that. I've enjoyed this game for how it's looked graphically for so long, but for the runs, it's like...
Mark?
I think it's a noticeable improvement.
I'm surrounded by zombies. Marvin, do you copy? Marvin! Damn it.
Gotta get the performance over quality. When I turn the... Oh, fuck, what am I doing? I just skipped that flash. Do I go back for it? Yeah, I think it's too late. I think it's too late. I think we just... We can get it on our way through there a second time. It's just if we need it now, I don't know. We go through here, we go up there, we go through there. We don't need a flash. We come back down, we go through there, we go to the library, we grab that, we go down there, we go there. We don't need it. We don't need it! Oh, fuck you. Where is he? Not grabbing ammo here. I think we grabbed too much ammo in that last round, seeing as I had to... Oh shit, what am I doing? No! The mouse is messing it up. We have a flash here. Okay, Skydiver is... Okay. We also had, like, just the right amount of shotgun ammo at the end. We had a little bit more than I actually needed. What did I have, like 7 plus 8? 15 shots at that final boss, and I think I only needed to use 3. We had a lot of flamethrower. I also had accidentally grabbed flamethrower when we fought G3, which I didn't realize was there. I was trying to find the grenade. And then at that point I had 2 grenades spare. Last run was just a really good run. Fish, scorpion, bull. Hey. Did he not wake up from that? He did. Also, didn't this zombie like drop down? Was that our last run? There was a run we just did where that zombie dropped down and he never does. Oh, that's right. Ore, thank you so much. Ore, we already got a personal best tonight. He's licking, he's licking, he's licking, he's licking, he's licking! Yo! Leave me alone! PB! Ore, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for the good luck. I need it. Oops. Okay, they're like an L shape on the.
No.
We also had a yes tonight. John got a yes for boyfriend. So we added another instance of no. We have 2 knives. I'm gonna use this now. Double knife Birkin. Do I have it equipped? I do. My phone is telling me to go into mod view. That's weird. Vision, that's weird. Oh, I don't like that. I didn't like that.
What the?
It's Tuesday, right? All right. Knife, double knife, shot, shoot him in the face, double knife. Let's pull this off again.
Won't work on this thing. No choice. Gotta take it down.
He never does an early grab. I'm gonna try to get him to.
Somebody's watching me.
Was that the fastest I've... At this point, I can't even tell. Like... I'm having so many good Birkin kills that I can't even tell anymore. Gross! Right. But also very fast. The speedy rolling frog, yes, oh my god, I need that. I need, do I have, I need to look at my emotes. I haven't looked at my emotes in a while. I wonder if I have an emote slot we can use animated, and if I have an animated one, we should commission like a rolling otter that's like super fast.
Hey!
Hey,
I'm not done talking
I'm
to you.
talking to you. I'm not gonna grab ammo. We also missed that flash. We missed that flash. I do want to try and grab that when we get the chance. Gotta remember that. A speedy rolly otter! I mean, if I'm doing speed runs, we need something fast! Okay, dog hallway. Is the crank in first slot? I don't remember. I don't remember. That would be one of your most used emotes. I already like the speedy frog we have in the Discord. I would totally want one similar. Wait, maybe I could make it. I could probably make... Is it? It's not first slot. Hedwig! Hi, Hedwig! Okay. Nice. Nice, 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 nice. Ooh, that was right at the camera. Don't touch me! We were so far ahead last time on Dog Hallway. Don't. Okay. I think we... Ah! What are you doing on your phone? Who's that? Why aren't you paying attention to me? Hedwig! That's only 2 ammo? How much are shotgun pickups? You got a knife here? Let's try to get that head pop again. We got him! We don't have to worry about him when we come back. Okay, we need to remember to grab a flash after Mr. X. Do I have... There's a flash up here. There's a flash. I have a flash on me and there's another flash up here. Nice. I have a flash. It's equipped. Let's try to get this open before we go. I didn't hear it open. It's okay. Did I? Shit, I don't know if I even... Fuck, which way is the... I don't know if I even hit the water. Did I? Oh my god. Did I hit this? I didn't see it animate. I don't think... If we missed it, I'm ending the run. Yes, okay.
Christ!
Get the flash. We need that flash. He's on his... He's right on my tail. We gotta grab this to the left. I don't know if there's a zombie here. No. Oh! Liquor hallway. Okay, let's do the thing we did last time and not shoot the liquor. Let's not shoot the liquor. But look at him. Does this... Is this like the best way to do this? I need to discard this again. Like... What the... I'm okay with it. That's fine. I guess we just don't shoot that liquor. I guess we just don't shoot that liquor. He's gonna... Please don't have zombies right here. Okay. Wait! Is there one behind me? We're gonna get this, but we just might get hit. We're not getting hit! We got hit here all night. Oh, I almost went down. I almost went down the wrong way. How many hours do I have in the game? I haven't looked at Steam in a while. I think it's maybe 600. Oh, we gotta grab this. Damn. Maybe around 600. I can't really check right now. But this is my 124th run, if that puts anything to perspective. Hope I don't have to write a report on this. Is he gonna come back through? Let me by! Oh my god, I was literally talking about the prison hallway with the flash. We have a flash. We could try it, but it might throw the whole run if I mess it up. Yo, you're like never there. We did pop a zombie head over here. This one, but that doesn't mean... Okay, you're... Okay, we got this.
How many cubes are in a pound?
Is that Salzer? I got it. Salzer! How you doing? I must sleep! No. Salzer, get some sleep. Thanks for stopping by, though. Thanks for the kick-ass. Okay, do I'm...
Get the fuck!
Did it work? No!
Give me a break.
Wait! Wait, you pulled it off! It wasn't perfect, but it was a fuck ton of save time.
Is that the intel you needed?
Unfortunately,
Oh my god.
Ben didn't come through.
Well, what exactly are you looking for?
More info on the people responsible for this mess.
That's way better.
Roads out.
Buy RPD, buy
Going to that
RPD.
gun shop looks like the only way.
And I've got 22 ammo, that's not bad. I'm not gonna pick up the ammo pickup over here. I'm gonna pick up the grenade and the shotgun upgrade.
Too bad.
Too bad. And we're going.
Heard of the Umbrella Corporation? They're a pharmaceutical company making bioweapons. They have a virus.
All right.
It turns people into indestructible.
We got
monsters.
smooth
That
journey
explains
all the
the
way
horrible things I've
to all the way to the chess pieces.
And that's why I'm looking for
Everything's easy up to there.
Based on what you've said, the sewer seems fitting. Gee, thanks. Can't imagine a real scientist being down.
If I beat my PB twice in one night,
Come on. Sewers are run by the city. How could they have a facility without the
too
authorities
bad.
knowing?
Welcome to corporate America. Umbrellas control right from the city.
Jesus! That an earthquake?
Abandon,
What the hell?
club key, first aid spray, this, let's get rid of the knife. Wait, there was a fucking second grenade in our inventory. We have a spare grenade, because I never used it at the prison. I never used the grenade at the prison. I've used the flash. I'm like, why do we have so many grenades? We're gonna pick up another grenade right around here.
No chance. You're stuck with
Do
me
I
to
have
the
too
end.
many grenades? Oh my god, you guys, we had a whole entire issue where the G adults were grabbing us with grenades. Wasn't that the same? That was this run, or not this run. That was last run. And I used 2 grenades. We could have that whole part be a lot smoother. That's a whole entire area of improvement. I forgot about that. Oh. It picked up the fucking grenade before I killed him. Do it.
Chew on that, you overgrown son of a bitch.
You overgrown son of a bitch. What the? Leon, up here. What the?
What the hell was?
Just get up here. Can't say I didn't warn you.
Can't say I didn't warn you.
You said the virus turned people into monsters, not reptiles. Fair point.
I'm just impressed you made it in one piece.
Come on, Ada. Come on, Ada. This is a speed run. Pop plus 10? 32 times?
Sells
No.
monsters like that to who? Our military? Somebody else's?
They don't sell the monsters. They sell the viruses that make them. And Annette is who makes the viruses. As scary as that alligator was, Annette is far more dangerous.
Oh,
You can run, Annette.
but you can't hide.
It's secret weapon time.
Oh, come on. Nice. Two's not bad.
Got you now.
Got you now.
Always been good at running, Annette. You knew that. Persistent bastard, aren't you?
I used to be scared if I did this part that he was gonna actually reach me, but I'm so fast now he doesn't even, we don't even see him.
Bravo. Gonna burn me alive now.
You'll never get your filthy hands on the G.
I'm
Not the only one after it.
You realize
won't die alone.
And you won't die alone.
Forty-four, 43.
what she's doing?
Visitor clearance confirmed. Your ID is authorized until October 1st. Please return before this date.
Not gonna happen.
Oh my god.
Where are you?
All right. Here we go. I just want to get out of the sewers and go to the lab.
Doesn't smell.
There's a knife. Do I grab that knife? I think I grabbed it last time. I think we just had just the right inventory space. I don't know if I want... We shot this one on in the leg, not the head. This was a leg shot here. And it worked out. I am gonna grab the knife because we can use it for G3. That's probably what we need that for. Very clean. Now we get to meet Sklurp. I did mess this up in my last run. We actually got hit. We like got a little stunned, and then I like recovered, right? I think I ran too fast there.
What the hell?
So we just saved some time there. We got sklurped last time. We got sklurped a lot, actually. We wasted 2 grenades.
Interesting.
Getting, like, triple grabbed in... I don't know how we survived that. We got triple grabbed in the...
Where'd she go?
In that whole entire portion. Karhu was taken! Thank you for the follow, welcome to the waves! Alright, we're gonna just get... We have too many... I'm gonna get rid of that and that. So let's just go with this. Sorry if I'm saying... I didn't mean to grab that. Sorry if I said your name incorrectly at all. Karhu? It was taken. Last time it didn't really work out well for us to... I still hear... Hey, I never get... He's awake. He's probably gonna run down here and join us when we come back. Don't worry. It's the first slot. First slot. Do I have... How many ammo? 1, 2, 12. I think it's safe to grab some ammo here. Oh my god, you're like never right here. And is he right at the... Uh-oh. Where is he? Where is he? Go down, go down, go down! Oh! All 3 of them are awake? All 3 of them survived? It looked like the one on the staircase had his legs blown off, so he was a crawler. I still hear them. Okay, let's get some good luck here.
Oh my god, this is getting worse.
Let's get some good luck here. Dive! Dive! Why aren't you diving? Oh shit! I better get a clean exit. That was annoying. We do have a grenade in storage. I think I have a triple grenade pack here, which I just used one, so I think that's 2 left. So, 1 for the boss. These guys are so annoying. That poor zombie's locked in there. Alright. Alright, clean exit. You guys, I think... Clean. Okay, the zombies in this room did not die. The one that's positioned on the left, I don't know if he's the one that got his legs blown off or if he's still alive or if I shot him and he collapsed. That one's dead. The one that's at the bottom of the stairs is the one... No, he's dead. Okay. Alright, time to fight Birkin. 2. Alright, get rid of this. Let's bring a extra grenade. Okay, no, that's Queen. I should just hit FF. Clean, clean, clean!
Okay, almost there.
That grenade throw I got in my last run for this fire skip was amazing.
Jesus Christ! It's still alive?
Oh, what the? My aim turn didn't work for some reason. That was weird. He's right behind me though. Sit down.
Now I got you.
We're going to the lab, y'all! What the fuck? Are we gonna get like another PB?
Too bad.
What the fuck?
Let's hope that's the last of them.
Let's play it careful. Let's do the whole 2 flash. What am I doing?
The cable car will take us down to
I messed up the flamethrower and
Nice.
shotgun thing. We grabbed the shotgun.
We're almost there.
I need to look at inventory when she hands us over the wristband. Look at inventory. If we have space for the shotgun and the upgrade and... well, just the shotgun. We just need to be able to carry the shotgun so I don't have to go to the box, deposit, and then go get the shotgun. I don't know what I have in my inventory. I grabbed a lot of shit. Oh! Two BPs in one night
This may be a
means
one-way ride.
that I probably
This tram is bound for next.
need to
Do not exit
solidify
until
my
the
time
final
better.
destination.
I know she like cut in front and I have enough space for the shotgun. So we go grab the shotgun. Breathe.
For your safety, stand clear until the doors are fully open.
Too bad.
For your safety, stand clear until the doors are fully open. For your safety, stand clear until the doors.
Grab the shotgun.
Next. Enjoy your visit.
Grab shotgun ammo, grab shotgun upgrade.
2 viruses.
Deposit the other things you don't need. We save those for later. We bring flashes. We don't. We get rid of that. I don't have a second flash here. We do need this. We get rid of that. We get rid of... no, I need that for... we don't have... I'm bringing... shit. Shit. It takes up another inventory space because we can't stack the flashes. We converted a flash essentially into a grenade. Nice.
Our menu is
Reload this.
nutritional needs using our latest biological research. Please enjoy our tasty selection of healthy.
That wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad. Skip the ammo here, grab the knife. Do I grab the knife here? Pretty clean. Nice. Oh, I didn't grab the shotgun ammo. All right, I literally was saying I needed to grab that. We grabbed the shotgun ammo. I deposit the flamethrower. We need double flash, but I don't have flashes, so we're gonna save that flash for specifically the liquors. The grenades I will use as defense items against the plant zombies. So let's. We don't need this knife. We don't need the handgun. We hold on to. Where's shotgun ammo? That's what I need. Thank you.
By Chief Cartwright in the
Right.
East area.
Right? I feel like I brought too much stuff. Pretty clean! I also feel like we did a lot better than our last run already, but yeah, we're at 48. Wasn't I at... when we got here? This is the 52 time position. We're 4 minutes ahead now from our normal time of 1:12, right? Because that's where we were, 52. So I think I'm about the same as our last run. I don't know. My time's that tight now? Unless... I don't know. We do get a flash here. They can stack. Oh, fuck. 3, 1, 2, 3. 2, 0, 6, 7. World record! It's world record! Do I have one grenade? Is it gonna stack to 2? I should have put this first slot.
Manual mode engaged.
R,
Adjust amount of
G,
solution to match cartridge
B,
capacity.
R, G, B, B, R. I almost. That's why I say it out loud. That's annoying. Got it in the position 1. I had to move it back. I was like, wait, we're about to... Alright, we have 2 flashes here. Works out. We get... I need this equipped. One more shotgun. That guy's gonna wake up, he always does. Oh my god! You want a high-tech laboratory? There might just be one right below you. There's also a massive time save here that I could be doing, where we don't walk, we run, and somehow deal with them. I almost ran.
Welcome back.
Ocean Haze, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the
New
waves.
messages.
It's alright. It's not great, but we still have extra nades, so I can work with that for the plant room. If we get grabbed
Cooling
again.
complete.
I do, however, need nades for the boss. So I hope we don't use them all. I think I have 3 in my box. If I... Do I have a heal at all? Sometimes they like can hear you if you. Now remember that one got stuck over here and started swinging around. We got hit by him. So that's like a part we just improved in a little. I'll take what we can get. All right.
That did the trick.
One right here. There's two! There's one right by the door!
You have dispersed a dangerous solution without
Oh my god.
Your actions have been logged, and you may be subject to disciplinary measures.
Are you fucking? Are you kidding? You're fucking kidding? There was how many right there? He's not over here this time, he's over here. That's pretty nice. Yo, I'm gonna heal, we go to G3. Holy shit. Are we gonna have another PB? 56.
Hopefully the G-Sample's up here.
Hopefully we don't have a pop up on our screen and say no Ethernet or something. But I am. It's the second one, not the first one. Get rid of that. Let's reload these. First aid spray. We need a knife. We need flamethrower. We need, fuck. I'm gonna use the first aid spray. We pick another ammo pickup of shotgun. We have a lot of flamethrower. We have a knife. It's not equipped right now.
All right, now back to Ada.
Attention, unauthorized
It's gonna combine like that.
level 4 virus.
How many? We have brought a heal. Let's go.
Lockdown initiated. Self-destruct sequence will begin when lockdown is complete.
Please, let's get this.
Unauthorized removal of a level 4 virus. Class A breach detected. Lockdown until target is neutralized. Facility lockdown initiated. Self-destruct sequence will begin.
Ready? Get the fuck off me. Oh shit. Don't fuck up, Ocean. He's in last phase. He's doing the. Where's the? I'm on the wrong side. It's right here. Do I have a nade? We have a nade. What the fuck? How much shotgun do I have? Yo, we might do this. We have flamethrower. That's pretty good. What the fuck? Remember when I bought RE5 so we could play together? Danny! Danny, what's up? Okay, you guys, no sound commands, please. We're about to get a new PB. We need to grab that. We have. Oh, I need to get rid of that knife, though. We don't need that one.
9 minutes until detonation. Use the central elevator to evacuate immediately to the bottom level train platform.
Right.
Attention. Self-destruct sequence initiated. Use the central elevator immediately to the bottom level train platform.
Whoa!
Attention. Self-destruct sequence initiated. Use the central elevator
Best behavior.
to the bottom level train platform. Attention. Self-destruct sequence initiated.
Is this a fucking joke?
Fuck yeah.
Attention. Self-destruct sequence initiated. Use the central elevator.
Oh my god.
8 minutes until detonation.
Okay, we need 2 slots. Get rid of that. Get rid of this. 2 slots, ammo. And let's bring extra nade.
Attention.
Bring this. We have 2 heals. We have flamethrower. We have shotgun. We have grenades. We have.
Central elevator to evacuate.
Oh fuck. That was close. He's got a rock. He's not using it. Oh, I need to heal.
105.24.
You have arrived at the bottom level.
What the fuck? $105.36. 37. Wait, it says 30. Oh, 36.98. 105.37.